What's up, stars? I'm Adriana.
And I'm Leah, here to deliver your Wednesday news.
Today's Wednesday, September 28th.
It's a C2 day for special area classes.
Did you know that there are over 54 million Hispanics and Latinos in the U.S.?
They live and work in our community every day. Many Latinx people own businesses too.
This month we celebrate artists, politicians, and scientists who have Hispanic backgrounds too.
Ellen Ochoa was the first Hispanic American woman to go to space.
She earned a physics degree and got graduate's degree in electrical engineering.
She was chosen as a NASA astronaut and was on the crew of the Space Shuttle Discovery.
Way to shoot for the stars! Last week we learned how our lizard brains can react to things that happen.
It can make us really scared or very angry. Sometimes it overreacts.
Our thinking brain can tell our lizard brain to calm down.
Today's video will teach you about the zones of regulation and how to get yourself back on track.
I love learning about my brain and how I can control my emotions. I think better letting them control me.
Let's hear about birthdays.
Cameron Siegel and Miss Marvelous Hawes are celebrating today.
Go to the office after the show to claim your birthday surprise.
Let's hear about lunch.
We are having chicken nuggets with a roll.
Or baked ravioli with garlic toast.
That sounds tasty. Pick up some salad and fruits to go with it.
Ready for a super funny joke? What do you call a cat that likes bowling?
What?
An alley cat.
Make sure to put your jokes in the joke box.
Or send it to abtvjokes@gmail.com.
We
need more jokes.
Next up, we have Mr. Alexander's awesome 5th grade stars to lead the pledge.
Take it away, stars.
Hi, my name is Tommy. Hi, my name is Kato. Hi, my name is Carlin. Hi, my name is Aiden. Hi, my name is Adji. Hi, my name is Emmett. Please rise
for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, learners! Have you ever tried looking at your own nose? It's so hard. Even though it's our nose on our face, it's really hard to see, unless you know how to look. Ah, there it is. Well, that got me thinking about my emotions. Sometimes I'm really worked up, but I don't understand what I'm feeling. Even though it's my emotion inside of me, I have a hard time understanding what I'm feeling. That's because emotions can be really hard to recognize, unless you know how to look for them. Today, we're going to take on the challenge of identifying and labeling the emotions inside of ourselves. Are you curious? Let's fire up our neurons and get ready to learn something new. You already learned that the smart part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, can help regulate the lizard part of your brain, the amygdala. And we know that our most intense emotions come from our amygdala. That means we can regulate our emotions. Does that sound right? I'm curious. I know sometimes I get really mad, or really sad, or kind of frustrated, and I know I didn't choose to feel that way, so what gives? Well, remember what we learned from our friend Dr. Nagler.
Your amygdala doesn't think, it just reacts.
And most times, it overreacts.
Maybe we have a test to take, and we start getting a little worried. Maybe someone says something mean, and we get really mad. We don't choose to feel that way. Our amygdala just goes into hyperdrive. But lucky for us, we have our prefrontal cortex to help us recenter ourselves. Think about riding your bike. When you're balanced, you move in a straight line. And if you start to drift one way or the other, you know that it's time to steer yourself back into the center lane. Well, regulating our emotions works in the same kind of way. If we get off balance, our prefrontal cortex can help guide us back to center. But to know how to steer, we first need to know where we are. And that means it's time to identify our emotions. There are so many emotions we can feel. So to help us out, we can think of our emotions fitting into different zones that we drift between. We call them the zones of regulation. We're going to start in the middle, in the green zone. This is when we're all systems go and ready to learn. What are some of the feelings you have when you're ready to learn? Maybe you're calm, happy, focused. All of these are great examples. When we're feeling centered, calm, and focused, we're in the green zone. We're ready to learn, work, and play. But we're not always in the green zone. Sometimes we may feel a little worried. Maybe we're frustrated. Now we're getting a little overwhelmed and anxious. This can also happen when we get a little too excited or maybe a little too silly. When we feel overstimulated and unfocused, we are in the yellow zone. We aren't quite out of control, but it can be hard to focus. Our amygdala is starting to take over. But we can also lean the other way. Maybe instead of being overstimulated, we're feeling a little slow. When we feel understimulated, we're in the blue zone. Maybe we're a little tired or bored or sad or sick. It can be just as hard to focus when we're feeling down. When we're in the yellow or blue zones, we are a little unfocused, but we can still get ourselves centered. But sometimes we aren't feeling just a little unfocused. Sometimes our amygdala is on high alert. Now we're in the red zone. We may be angry, we can be terrified, we can be extremely sad, or bouncing all over. We are out of control. Our amygdala has completely taken over. It can definitely be hard to calm down when we're in the red zone. That's why it's always best to catch ourselves when we're in the yellow or blue zone. But even if we do make it all the way into the red zone, we can still get ourselves back under control. It just takes a little more effort. The secret is to identify how we're feeling and name which zone we're in. Think about riding your bike again. If you didn't realize you were leaning one way, you'd have no idea to steer back into the center. But if we recognize that we've moved out of the green zone, we can always find ways to get ourselves back. Now, is having all these emotions okay? Of course! Hey, being a kid is hard work. We're going to feel emotions from all 4 of the zones. But when we identify how we're feeling, we have the ability to take control. And you want to hear the best part? When we identify our emotions, we can also communicate them. Your teachers, caretakers, and friends don't have X-ray vision. They can't see inside your brain and know how you're feeling. If they don't know how you're feeling, they might not realize you're out of the green zone. Maybe your teacher's calling on you to share in class, but they can't tell that you're feeling a little frustrated and are having a hard time focusing right now. Maybe your friends want to show you a new game, but they don't know that you're really mad right now. But if we take what we learned today and identify how we're feeling, we can communicate what we need and use our prefrontal cortex to help us get under control. To learn how to use your prefrontal cortex, you're going to visit my friend, Mrs. Machen. Thanks for joining me, learners. Try to take some time today to identify how you're feeling and label which zone you're in. If you want to learn more about the things you can do with your extraordinary brain, check out some of our other lessons, and congratulations, you just got smarter.